in a snug little cottage with lemon-yellow shutters and ivy curling up the sides. The morning sun peeked gently through lace curtains. Inside, a small ginger cat stirred in her woven basket beside the fireplace. Her name was Ginger, and she was known throughout Sunny Meadow for being not just adorable, but clever, kind, and curious. As the first rays of sunlight warmed her orange fur, Ginger let out a long yawn and stretched each paw slowly, one at a time. Her whiskers twitched. Her ears perked up. It was going to be a good day. She could feel it in her paws. After grooming her ears and tail, she hopped down onto the soft wooden floor. The scent of warm oats and butter floated from the kitchen, where Miss Maple, the gentle old hedgehog who cared for Ginger, was humming a morning tune. "Morning, Ginger," Miss Maple said, setting down a tiny saucer of milk with a biscuit on the side. Ginger purred, nibbled her breakfast gratefully, then padded toward the window. Outside, the meadow shimmered with dew, and birds were chirping harmonies in the trees. Just then, flutter, flutter, something golden danced across the glass. A butterfly. Not just any butterfly. This one shimmered in the sunlight, its wings a mix of yellow and orange, tipped with silver dots like morning dew. Ginger's eyes widened. "Where are you going?" she whispered, her tail flicking with curiosity. The butterfly dipped once, twice, and flew toward the trees at the edge of the meadow. Ginger didn't hesitate. She pawed open the little door flap Miss Maple had made for her, and leapt into the morning air, her paws touching the grass with soft thuds. An adventure had begun. The butterfly drifted ahead, weaving between tall stalks of wildflowers and humming grasses. Ginger followed silently, ears perked, paws soft against the earth. The deeper she walked, the quieter the world seemed. Trees whispered overhead, and dappled sunlight painted golden spots on the mossy path. As she neared the woods, familiar voices floated toward her. "Ginger!" From beneath a big oak tree came Bella Bunny, with snow-white fur and a pastel pink ribbon tied neatly between her ears. Bella's nose twitched happily. Beside her stood Freddie Fox, his orange coat tidy and his fluffy tail swishing with excitement. Timmy Turtle, slow but steady, stood near a clover patch, his green shell dappled in morning light. "You're out early," Bella said, hopping over. "I'm following that butterfly," Ginger explained. "It seems special." Freddie tilted his head. "Special how?" "I don't know yet," Ginger said, "but I think we're meant to follow it." Just as they were about to continue, a rustling above caught their attention. Old Owl, the forest's quietest thinker, sat on a low branch near a sparkling pond. He adjusted his feathers and blinked at them through wide, watery eyes. "Oh dear," he muttered, searching his perch. "Oh dear, oh no." "What's wrong, Owl?" Ginger asked kindly. "I've lost my reading glasses," he sighed. "Without them, I can't read the new book the fairies lent me." "We'll help you find them," Ginger said confidently. "Right, everyone?" Everyone nodded. Timmy offered a slow, steady blink of agreement. And just like that, the butterfly mission became something more. Ginger paced slowly along the pond's edge, her eyes sharp and nose twitching. Freddie darted between bushes, his nose low to the ground. Bella poked around tree roots, while Timmy plodded behind, steady and observant. Tiny paw prints, Ginger murmured, pointing to the mud with her paw. Freddie leaned in. Raccoon prints. I know those anywhere. Ginger nodded. I think I know who. Let's visit Ricky Raccoon. Ricky lived in a cozy hollow tree, tucked between berry bushes that smelled sweet and summery. As they approached, giggles echoed from within. Ha! I look like a professor, came a cheerful voice from inside. Peeking in, they saw Ricky Raccoon spinning in circles, wearing a pair of large, round glasses. Owl's glasses, Bella whispered. Ginger stepped forward and cleared her throat politely. Ricky. Ricky stopped mid-spin. Oh, Ginger. I didn't know these belonged to someone. I just found them by the pond. Ginger smiled kindly. He needs them to read. Would you mind giving them back? Ricky's ears drooped slightly. I didn't mean to take them. Honest. He gently took the glasses off and held them out. Thank you, Ginger said. Then she added with a warm grin, would you like to join our adventure? Ricky's face lit up. Yes, please. The 5 friends turned back toward the pond, their paws and feet moving together through soft forest grass. Owl was still perched on the branch, squinting into the distance when they returned. Ginger stepped forward and offered the glasses. Here you go, Owl. Owl's face brightened immediately as he carefully placed them back on his beak. Thank you, my dear Ginger, he said warmly. You truly are a clever little cat. The group beamed with pride. Even Ricky stood a bit taller, proud to be part of the team. Then Freddie's voice rang out. Look! What's that under the bush? Everyone gathered near. Bella brushed aside a few leaves, and Ginger reached in carefully with her paw. It was a tiny golden key, no bigger than a berry, with delicate swirls and vines carved into the handle. It's so shiny, Ricky whispered, like it's been waiting for someone. Owl adjusted his glasses and leaned closer from his perch. That key, he said, is something very special indeed. It opens the hidden door to the secret fairy garden. Timmy blinked slowly. I thought that was only a legend. It is very real, Owl replied, but it only reveals itself to those who are kind, clever, and true of heart. Ginger looked down at the key resting in her paw. Its golden curves shimmered gently in the morning light. Then we have to find the door, she said softly. I think this is what the butterfly was leading us toward. Ricky tilted his head. How do we find it? Owl gave a slow, wise blink. Follow the sunbeams through the forest. They'll guide your paws to the ivy-covered wall. Freddie stretched and wagged his tail. Well, what are we waiting for? The 5 friends waved goodbye to Owl and set off once more. With Ginger leading the way, they walked deeper into the woods, where the trees grew taller, and the air began to shimmer just slightly with the promise of magic. Each step they took was filled with quiet excitement. They weren't just following a butterfly anymore. They were following something bigger than they could imagine. The forest changed as they walked. The trees stood taller, their leaves whispering above like they were sharing secrets. Golden sunbeams slipped through the branches, dancing on the ground like tiny lanterns leading the way. Ginger followed the light, her golden key gently swinging on a string around her neck. Each time a sunbeam lit her path, she took another soft step forward. Ricky walked close beside her, whispering, "What if we can't find the door?" "We will," Ginger said quietly. "It's waiting for us." Timmy plodded along without worry. Sometimes the best doors are the ones we almost don't see. Just then, Bella gasped. "There! Look at the wall!" Behind a curtain of ivy stood a stone wall, its surface rough and cracked with age. But right in the middle, a soft glow peeked out between the vines. Ginger stepped forward slowly. She reached up with her paw and gently pulled back the ivy. Beneath it was a small wooden door, weathered with time, but strong and sturdy. There was no handle, only a small golden keyhole. Ginger took a deep breath. Then, slowly and carefully, she slipped the golden key into the lock. Click! The door creaked open. A soft breeze drifted out, carrying the scent of lavender and stars. Light spilled through the opening, gently sparkling like morning dew. Freddie stepped up beside her. "Well, what's in there?" Ginger looked over her shoulder and smiled. "Let's find out." And together, one by one, they stepped through the doorway, into something truly magical. The door opened into a place that felt like a dream. Soft moss covered the path like a velvet blanket. Flowers glowed in gentle colors: lavender, mint, rose, and pale gold. Tiny lanterns hung from silver branches, glowing with a warm, steady light. And then they saw them, the fairies. Dozens of tiny fairies fluttered in the air, their wings shining like soap bubbles in the sun. One fairy flew forward, her wings glowing soft pink and white. She wore a gown of layered petals, and had a kind, glowing face. "Welcome," she said gently. "I'm Fairy Rose. We've been waiting for you." "For us?" Bella whispered. Fairy Rose nodded. "We saw your kindness, your teamwork, and your courage to follow what others might ignore." Ginger blushed softly beneath her fur. "We only wanted to help." "And that," Rose said, "is what makes you special." The fairies danced in circles, offering the visitors tiny crowns made of glowing flower threads. Berry treats floated in soft bubbles. Fairy music, as light as wind chimes, filled the garden. Freddie laughed as a bubble popped gently on his nose. Ricky reached out to catch one, and it turned into a sweet drop of honey. "This place is amazing," Timmy said slowly. "It's our home," said Fairy Rose. "But something is missing." The lights dimmed slightly. The flower petals quivered. "Our queen's necklace," Rose said quietly. "It holds the garden's magic. And now it's gone." Ginger sat up straight. "Do you know where you lost it?" Rose shook her head. "The last time we saw it, it was near the moon mushrooms at the edge of the garden." Bella looked around. "We'll help you find it." Fairy Rose's eyes sparkled with tears. "Thank you. You are more than guests. You are guardians of kindness. The path to the moon mushrooms was quiet. A soft mist drifted through the air, and the glow from the garden lights faded into silver twilight. Ginger walked slowly at the front of the group, her nose close to the ground, her ears alert. The others followed in silence, Bella hopping gently beside Ricky, Freddie walking low and cautious, Timmy steady and calm as always. The moon mushrooms stood tall at the garden's edge. Their caps shimmered like pearl lanterns, each one softly pulsing with light. Ginger paused, eyes narrowing. "I see something," she whispered. She stepped carefully toward the tallest mushroom. Beneath it, hidden beneath soft moss and flower petals, something glittered faintly. With a gentle paw, Ginger brushed away the moss. There it was, a delicate necklace made of silver vines and a blue crystal pendant. It glowed softly in the moonlight, like it had been waiting for her. "I found it," Ginger called. The others hurried over, gasping with joy. Fairy Rose flew in, her wings sparkling with hope. "Oh, Ginger," she cried, "you found the Queen's necklace!" The other fairies flew from the trees, dancing in spinning circles of light. The garden itself seemed to breathe again. Petals reopened, lanterns brightened, even the stars above twinkled with more warmth. "You've saved us," Fairy Rose said, placing the necklace gently over her heart. "You've brought back our garden's magic." Ginger smiled, her tail curling gently around her paws. "We just followed the trail," she said, "but it was your hope that led us." The fairies sang a soft song of thanks, their voices light as feathers, echoing through the glowing leaves. And in that moment, surrounded by joy and moonlight, Ginger felt a warmth inside that she knew she would never forget. That night, under a sky full of stars, the secret fairy garden came alive with celebration. Strings of glowing lanterns floated gently between the trees, casting soft light on petals that danced in the breeze. The fairies prepared a moonlight feast, berry tea in tiny cups, petal pastries, and sweet dewdrop cookies. Everything sparkled, but never too brightly, just enough to feel like a lullaby you could walk through. Ginger and her friends joined the fairies beneath the tree with silver bark. Bella twirled slowly with fairy ribbons tied to her ears. Freddie chased firefly sparkles in playful loops. Timmy tapped along to the music with his shell, and Ricky carefully braided a glowing vine crown. In the center of it all, Ginger sat beside Fairy Rose. Rose looked at her with a smile full of wonder. "Ginger," she said softly, "your kindness is your greatest magic. Even in the darkest places, you brought light just by being gentle and true." Ginger blinked slowly, her heart glowing more than any lantern. "I didn't do it alone," she said. "We did it together." Fairy Rose nodded. "True friends are like stars. You might not always see them, but they're always there." She reached into a pouch at her side and pulled out a tiny glass vial filled with golden dust. "This is fairy dust," she said, "a gift for your heart, to remind you that wonder and warmth live inside you always." Ginger accepted it gently with both paws. "Thank you," she whispered. The fairies gathered in a final circle around Ginger and her friends. They sang a song so soft that it felt like the stars themselves were listening. And as the last note faded, a gentle hush fell over the garden. It was time to go home. Under a sky full of stars, Ginger and her friends walked slowly back through the forest. The lights of the fairy garden faded softly behind them, like a lullaby floating on the wind. No one spoke for a while. They were each holding something quiet and warm in their hearts. Freddie finally whispered, "That was the most magical place I've ever seen." Bella nodded, her ears bouncing gently. "And Ginger, you made it all happen." Ginger shook her head with a smile. "We all did it together." Timmy gave a soft little hum of agreement. Together is always the best way. By the time they reached Sunny Meadow, the moon was hanging low and soft in the sky. Miss Maple's cottage stood waiting, its windows glowing with warm yellow light. Miss Maple opened the door before Ginger could even knock. "There you are, my little traveler," she said with a smile. Ginger padded inside, her paws quiet on the wooden floor. She placed the tiny glass vial of fairy dust gently on her side table. It shimmered faintly in the candlelight. Miss Maple tucked a small quilt over her as she curled into her basket. She had another adventure, she whispered with a chuckle. "Brave, clever little thing." Outside, a silver-blue butterfly fluttered past the window one last time. Then it disappeared into the stars. Ginger closed her eyes. Her breathing slowed. And in her dreams, the garden glowed, the fairies sang, and soft petals fell like whispers from the sky. In her little cottage, beneath the quiet moon, the clever little Ginger cat slept peacefully, ready for whatever tomorrow might bring. That's the end of our story. Thanks for listening with Blankie Berries. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed it. Good night, little dreamer.